Hello and welcome back to WePC, and I'm back again. It's a Friday and we know what that means. It's This Week in Gaming, where we take you through all of the best stories from the past week. Now, to kick off, we always knew that Giancarlo Esposito of Breaking Bad fame was going to be in a new release. It was teased here and there, but we weren't quite sure what game it was going to be. Well, I say we weren't quite sure, but our news editor Louis was dot on, because he said that it was going to be a new Far Cry title and he was on the money. And I personally can't wait. I love Giancarlo. I think he is an amazing actor ever since Breaking Bad, and it's going to be really interesting to see that villainy transpose itself across to a Far Cry game. Now, Far Cry 6 was released a little bit early on a PlayStation Store across the seas, but who can remember a time when a Ubisoft game wasn't leaked? Speaking of Ubisoft, this week they had their Ubisoft Forward event, which was their E3 style replacement, and we got to see games such as Far Cry 6, Watch Dogs Legions, which still looks really good, and I personally can't wait to play it. I mean, Watch Dogs was all right. Watch Dogs 2 I thought was actually quite good, but Watch Dogs Legions looks incredible. I can't wait to play. And then also alongside Watch Dogs, we saw an ode to a fan favourite in Rainbow Six Siege, as well as a plethora of other game announcements. Alongside these were their upcoming hyperscape shooter, the aforementioned Far Cry 6, and a few other smaller titles that we kind of really just don't care about. Ubisoft weren't the only company to put on an event this week, because Devolver Digital also had their E3 style replacement, and it was just as tongue-in-cheek as we were expecting. We'll put a link in the description below for Devolver Digital, everything that they brought out. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it was just okay. Then the buzz started to build a little bit more for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which a lot of aviation fans have been looking forward to. Now, it gets released on beta in August for, I think it's a September actual release date. We found out a few things that kind of turned me off it, like a few paywall sort of stuff, but it still looks like a really good simulation game, and it looks so rich in detail that you kind of want to pay that little bit extra, because you want to see the rest of the world. You go into Microsoft Flight Simulator to go to Heathrow, to go to Rome, to go to LA, to go to JFK. When you can't get to those locations, and if the game is as stunning in detail as it is, then I don't think people are going to mind paying that little bit extra. Now, one of the perks of our job is that we have a chat in our work Slack that is basically all about peripherals, new releases, what's going on in the peripheral industry, all of our reviews. And one peripheral that was announced this week was a new Razer Huntsman keyboard. And as you can imagine, that chat was very hyped for this, which is the Razer Huntsman Mini, I believe. So it's interesting to see how they're going to perform when they bring in the mini versions of them, whether it's going to lack a little bit in quality, maybe they sacrifice a few things to get into that mini frame. But if they don't, it could be a very good peripheral. This week, and after 16 years of waiting, I did my waiting! We finally got Halo 3 on PC. Fans across the world rejoiced, because this is something that we've been waiting for years. God knows why it has taken them this long to put it on PC, but we're not going to complain right now, are we? I think everyone's just delving back into Halo 3, which is the pinnacle of Halo games. We've always known that Henry Cavill was a bit of a nerd. Now, when he was asked between PS4 and Xbox, he said PC. When he was asked between Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, he said Lord of the Rings. He spent pretty much most of his quarantine painting Warhammer 40k, and he was so deep in World of Warcraft raids that he missed the call to play Superman. Now, luckily, he called them back and he got the job. But this week, we weren't expecting him to steamily build a PC in his own home. Now, Henry, if you're watching this, and I very highly doubt that you are, but come on into the office. We'll help you build some more PCs. You can take a ride on our racing sim and you can just hold me. Hold me, Henry. Anyway, our eagle-eyed news team has spotted all of the parts and components that he has used to build this PC. So if you want to play The Witcher, like The Witcher plays The Witcher, then this is the perfect article for you, and we'll put a link in the description below so you can check out every single piece of the puzzle that he used to build that PC. And that's it for the gaming news this week. I'll be back next Friday to bring you next week's gaming news. And as always, if you like what you see, I'm not just talking about me, why not consider subscribing to WePC?